Well, now let's quickly begin with a major story of the day. It has been love-hate relationship between the legislative and executive arms of government. From the first day the National Assembly was inaugurated, this situation and the scenario has played out. The situation has recently gone from bad to worse, considering that the two arms of government are now controlled by the ruling APC, and this row continues. But how does the party, the APC, resolve this situation or find itself in this situation? The Senate Chief Whip, Professor Shola Adeyeye, joins us now on the program. Many thanks for coming on the program, Senate Chief Whip.
Thank you very much.
As a senator from Osun State and a member of the APC, first and foremost, let me quickly take you on the election, the by-election in Osun West. It looks so much that what are the lessons? If you look at what the governor said, he tweeted, and I quote what he said on his Twitter handle. He said he congratulates Ademola Adeleke on his victory at the polls yesterday. The people have spoken, democracy won, and we respect the people's choice. That's Governor Rauf Aregbesola. Does it look like your party is losing it in Osun State? You've lost a major election, senatorial election.
Yes, we did. All it has shown is that we have lost this one election. Parties such as the PDP have lost elections before, only to win again. And I've won elections before only to lose again. That's the beauty of democracy. I join my governor in congratulating Senator-elect Ademola Adeleke, who has resoundingly won the mandate of his people. I wish him a successful tenure in the Nigerian Senate.
So if you hear some of the reactions from on the ground during the election, some of such we heard in some of the sound bites and the vox pop is that your party is losing it in the state. Perhaps your party is no longer popular as it used to be in Osun State. Are you afraid about the present scenario?
Not at all. Obafemi Awolowo lost a midterm election in Western region, the only premier of Nigeria to have ever lost an election in his region, only to resoundingly win the next two elections.
You're talking about the 1960s?
Yes. Elections are elections. Elections are, you go, you place yourself before the people, you place facts at their disposal, they choose. In this instance, they have chosen to send Ademola Adeleke to the Nigerian Senate. That's their sovereignty. And I'm glad that we are having a democracy where a party in power can lose election. That's what we have always asked for in this country. If that's the wish of the people, what we are saying is let it not be an election that is stolen. And nobody can say that Ademola Adeleke stole his election. He won.
Okay, let's quickly go to our major focus, the reasons why we invited you on the program. Majorly, you are a principal officer in the National Assembly. Are you concerned that things have not gone well between the National Assembly, especially now the Senate, and the executive arm of government? It's been a love and hate relationship that we've seen so far. How have things gone this bad?
You ask, am I concerned? I'm not only concerned, every cell inside my body is concerned. My job as whip is to see that the will of my party prevails in the Senate. That's the job of a chief whip. Unfortunately, because of the events of the last 2 years, even though we have my party controlling the executive, even though we have my party as majority in the House of Reps, even though we have my party controlling the majority in the Senate, oftentimes it has been as if we have a divided government. Of course, that has to make a person who occupies my office extremely sad. Behind the scene, God knows, I do my very best to see how we can bring both camps together so that we can do what is in the best interest of running this country very smoothly. But alas, I guess I've not succeeded yet.
I mean, it's sad because a lot of people would think, oh, the issue is going to affect governance. Has it affected governance?
Of course, it has affected governance. A good example is the case of this budget of the Lagos Ibadan Express Road, where the executive from my own party submitted a proposal. I have argued severally and in good conscience that I believe it is the National Assembly that has the power to appropriate. But I don't know of any sane system where an executive of one party will submit a budget to the National Assembly, and what comes out after that will be an act that is so distant from what was submitted, yet you cannot even recognize it. For example, take the case of the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road. A road, in my opinion, that is not a southwestern road. It's a national road. It's a federal road. A road through which 70% of petroleum products into Nigeria pass to get to the different parts of Nigeria. A road in which 60% of the imports into Nigeria pass to get to different parts of Nigeria. And a road through which many of the agricultural products and interland products are brought to Lagos. And yet, the budget was so cut that you see the kind of exchange between the minister and members of the National Assembly. In my opinion, the leadership of our party should hang its head in shame that they've allowed this to go on for so long. By now, they should have gotten to a point where the executive and at least the members of our party can cooperate on matters like that.
Where do you think the gap is being? Is it the political gap or institutional gap, or where do you think the problem, or your party just lack leadership? What exactly do you think the problem?
No, I would be unfair if I place all the blame at the feet of the party leadership alone. Part of the blame lies with the executive that, in my opinion, does not consult enough. I lived in the US for 22 years. When you have issues like these that are hot and divisive, the president will be on the telephone calling specific members of Congress, inviting them for lunch, for breakfast, and putting pressure on them, sometimes rubbing their head, so as to make sure that his own will can prevail in
What about
Congress.
those meetings that we see members of the National Assembly with the acting president? Are those meetings just for decoration? Because we do see National Assembly.
But oftentimes, those meetings take place at crisis point. What I'm saying is, you don't wait until you get a crisis before you host those meetings. And at the same time, I believe that even within the National Assembly, there are those who feel that they need to flex their muscles so that they can show the executive that some of the things that appointees of the executives are saying, which they consider to be either insulting, unfair, and even unconstitutional, can be challenged. So as elephants begin to fight, it is the grass that suffers. Personally, I'm sad. I don't think the presidency should flex muscles. I don't think the National Assembly should flex muscles. I believe what ought to be happening, if there are points of the Constitution where we disagree, let's quickly approach the Supreme Court to get a judicial interpretation. But a situation where our party, through the executive, will propose 40 billion for one road, and our party, through the National Assembly, will reduce that to 10%, to 10 billion. That is, take away 75% of what the executive has proposed. It's not seen in any sane society, and I'm sad by that.
You're sad also that it looks like the National Assembly is frustrating the efforts of the executive, isn't it?
Yes, that's what it looks like, but let me also be fair to others, okay? Some who hear me now will say, yes, he's saying what he's saying because he's a Yoruba man. God knows I'm speaking in good conscience. Because when you go through from Ibadan to Lagos, as I once said even on the floor of the Senate, the majority of luxurious buses, Ekeledi Nichuku, the Young Shall Grow, are owned by Igbos. When you look at the trucks bringing all the agric products, they are not owned by Yorubas, they are owned by Northerners. So that is the aorta and the vena cava of Nigerian road system. Therefore, I believe that Fashola should be given every encouragement so that that road can be built. However, I'm an insider. I hear the argument of the other side. The argument of the other side is this. One, okay, you want to take all these things to Lagos or from Lagos. How do you get to Lagos in the first instance? Akure to Ibadan is also terrible. So how do you get from Akure to Ibadan? Ilorin to Ibadan is also terrible. How do you get from Ilorin to Ibadan? And so on and so forth. So they are saying that the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road is the one road that we can guarantee can be funded through public-private partnership. Therefore, don't put all of the arsenal of government, the financial resources of government, on that road alone. Let that road be funded through private-public partnership. Let me also say, for the record, that I oppose that opinion. And I did so over and over and over again because I believe the nation right now is in a recession. And because we are in a recession, it is difficult to find this kind of resources within the private sector. In any case, for as long as we are arguing about who financed what, that road is not being done and the nation is suffering on it. But having said that, a man who comes from Yobe or from Taraba says, look, I'm also here to fight for the road of my people. If you are going to spend 60 billion on road in 1 year, why should about 60% of it go to just one section of the country? The argument I don't buy because, as I've said before, that road does not belong to the Southwest. It's a national aorta and vena cava.
I would like to pause it just for a moment because we need to take a break. But when we return, is governance in trouble in Nigeria as a row between the National Assembly and the executive lingers? We'll find out how the Nigerian political elite will get the nation out of these. Who blinks first? That's after one. Now, get us.